Thanks, Emma, and it was a pleasure talking to you earlier. Uh, so, hey, y'all, how are you guys doing? Yeah. Why don't you give some claps if you're a parent? Yeah. What- If you're not a parent, don't feel bad, though, because watch this. Hey, give some claps if you've had some challenges just raising your kids. Right. Yeah, it ain't easy. It ain't easy, right? Lately, I've been watching my son, prep for college, and it's a beautiful and amazing thing. But sometimes I get a little concerned for him, right? Parents, we know how this is, right? I just want to fix everything about him. Don't worry, though. Like, my people, what do they tell me? They tell me, hey, what were you doing at his age? And he's 19, by the way. And at 19, what I was doing, yeah, he's doing a lot better than I was. So can't argue with that. I'm sure he'll be just fine. So first time I came to a luncheon to speak for youth care, I shared a funny story about my experiences with college. And now I get to tell that story to him every single day leading up to his first day of college. Yeah. Hey, Elijah, you love that biscotti story, don't you? Yeah. Well, let me back up to when I was 19, his age. I came to the Ryan Center, a.k.a. the Green Building, in what was supposed to be white sweatpants, but they were gray. There were stains everywhere. It was terrible. It was bad. And this green duffel bag, I had it with me. I don't know where I put it, but I have this green duffel bag. Oh, hey, you guys help me. Thank you. Boom, this one right here. Yeah, I use this one to carry all my blankets, and it's retired now, so that's a good thing. At the time, I was an active drunk and drug addict. I had legal issues, the kind of issues that an ex-felon faces with a sprinkle of alcohol-related petty crimes. I dropped out of high school, and I grew up in a family that was severely affected by mental health disorders. But not only that, as a black and white man in America, I was running into some real identity issues. Try dealing with all these problems while wondering if you're sane. Now, everyone I knew that and loved either abandoned me or could no longer put up with me and my problems. I was angry and alone in the absolute sense. And I'm not talking about isolation. I'm talking about being excluded from the human race. It was just me and my thoughts. No one else seemed to care. I still interacted with people, but I was so sick that I didn't even want to know what their names were. I just didn't want to be hurt or be hurt by anyone anymore. I was tired and I felt there was nothing left to lose. And all I had was a sincere and desperate desire to be a good father to my son. The first time I spoke with somebody at the Ryan Center, I spoke with a case manager by the name of Abby, and she's here today. Hey, Abby, how you doing? She cared about me when in my mind I thought I was a real monster. She didn't judge me when I failed, and she helped me navigate the homeless scene. And along the way, I met a chemical dependency counselor by the name of Johnny Oda. Hey, what's up, Johnny? How you doing? Yeah. He was the first example of a recovering addict that I actually wanted to be like. These two gave me direction and guidance when I needed it the most, and most importantly, they valued me. And honestly, if my life mattered to them, then maybe I wasn't a monster, and maybe there was still some hope. And once I got sober, it all fit into place. With recovery as a backbone, I took care of my legal issues, I got off the streets, and started to hold down jobs. I enrolled in the Youth Care Barista Training Education Program. A few days a week, staff, Juliana and Mark, if you know, taught us the ins and outs of coffee. And on other days, we'd work at the Fair Start Cafe, the 2100 building. Upon completing that program, I had all kinds of job opportunities. Starbucks, Vivace, Seattle's Best Coffee. I could make you coffee any day, right? They all wanted me. But the confidence and skills that I gained from that program led me to working at Tully's for over 2 years. And by the way, that was in a row. And during that time, I also finished high school at Interagency High School in that green building. And I was thinking to myself that there'd be no more school for me. I didn't want to do school. Yeah. But I met this man named George Lee. He was a youth program coordinator, and he convinced me to enroll at Seattle Central College. And I really didn't want to go to school. But If George wanted me to, I was willing to do anything for him. He helped me connect with TRIO, and at TRIO I met a case manager by the name of Kaylee, who helped me navigate my early years of school. In my first course, like, everyone was so fancy. They were wearing fancy clothes and they were doing fancy things. It was the Introduction to Logic course, and so a lot of them want to be lawyers. So, in my mind, I imagine them all sitting together eating biscottis and sitting at coffee shops, and that's where the biscotti story came from. Yeah. To tell you the truth, I was terrified of them, and I also wanted to belong. I desperately wanted to belong. But imagine how the conversation would have been. Hey, how are you guys doing? Oh, I'm just freaking out, trying to stay sober on my way back to the shelter. How are you doing? All right, well, we're not going to have that conversation. The class was hard for many reasons, but if George and Kaylee believed in me, then I was going to do it if they felt like it was the right next step. And at the end of the first quarter, the instructor pulled me to the side and told me I did well. And that was truly the first time I actually felt and knew that I could do college. And so I kept going, and along the way, I kept hearing about that PhD thing. I didn't know what those letters meant at the time. A doctor who doesn't know human organs. Come on, guys. Come on. But along the way, I fell in love with math. I started to see patterns. The sway of grass, the elliptic orbits of celestial bodies, the mysterious forces like gravity and that are at play, not just here, but throughout the whole universe. They're all describable by mathematics. An invisible world seen and explored through the eyes of math. The thing is, mathematics brought me beauty and even joy to a world that previously brought me a lot of pain. Now, with the belief other people had in me, I started to climb mountains. I worked hard, harder than you can imagine, to earn my PhD in mathematics from the University of Washington. Yeah. Shoot, I earned all them letters. AS, BS, MS, PhD, I earned all of them. All of them. And shout out to OMAD, the Ronald E. McNair Fellowship, Professor Kenneth Bube, who's sitting over there, and Professor Bernard DeConnick. Oh, we don't stop. I learned to keep climbing mountains in the pursuit of dreams. Recovery taught me to put one foot in front of the other. And now I work at Boeing as an applied mathematician, and it's amazing. I mean, honestly, I get to work with mathematics, and I get to work on airplanes. That's super cool, man. It is. And so shout out to Dr. Tom Hogan and to Dr. Jeff Poskins over there, who came to show me some support. I really appreciate it. Yeah. It's the first time I'm sitting at a table with a bunch of PhDs. And I'm one of them. Oh, man. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. As they say, it takes a village. When I was first experiencing homelessness, I just wanted to belong. Sharing my story was about showing everybody, including myself, that I was worthy. But now it's a little different. I mean, no offense. I don't want to consider myself homeless anymore or high risk. In fact, I'm sharing this story because it's really not about me. It's more about what has been done for me. And I'll try to explain that. Like, Abby and Johnny were like parents to me, and the green building was a sanctuary. I spent many days on the drop-in floor just doing homework. And mathematics represented an opportunity to explore a new world that was far removed from all the problems that were just bouncing around in my head. It was peace for me. But this whole story is woven together through an interconnected web of programs and individuals that lifted me up when I needed it the most. And at the end, the key was sobriety. Organizations like the YMCA, Ryther, Youth Care, SILA, TRIO, MESA, and KCHA each played an integral role for me. And similarly, people like Johnny and Abby, George, and many others wrapped around me. And by the way, shout out to the wraparound program, if you know that. Yeah. But what an amazing story. I mean, it's an amazing story. Who's this story about? Me? Shoot, honestly, I got everything I needed once I got sober and I got custody of my son. That's all I ever wanted. It's not just about me. If it was just about me, I'd be talking about how I'm just a living Superman. That's all we'd be talking about here, right? But you can ask my wife, I'm not Superman. What it is about is what's possible for these youth as a direct result of the interconnected web of programs, resources, individuals, the village. So can we have a standing ovation for all the staff working with youth on the front lines? You guys can think what you want, but these guys are heroes to me. Speaking of youth, Elijah is my son, and as fathers do, I'm watching him become a man, and all I want to do is support him. Getting custody of him was a dream of a dying man, and yet it happened. Now, raising him has not been easy. It's been a teenager raising a teenager. We've had some real struggles, and we've also had some real joy. And as some teenagers do, I found me a lady. Hey, Talia, how you doing? Yeah. The only difference is that we fell in love in a math instructor's office hours the moment that we found out that we were youth care clients. Yeah. I'd like to introduce my family and have them come up. Talia and Elijah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. There's so much to say about Talia and her journey and our shared journey. She stepped into my life and she helped me build a home. And she could have done her own thing, right? But instead, she had the desire to be a mother to my son. And she's challenged me, taught me, and inspired me. So I just want to say thank you, Talia, and I love you. We also have a new addition. This is Fernando. He's my little guy. He's tired right now, but he's always smiling. It's fun. And then there's Elijah. Of all the possibilities I ever wanted, was to just be a good father. I was on the streets, man. I was not a good dude. I just wanted to be his dad. And it came true. Youth Care connected me with Silaw, a lawyer named Katie, and she walked me through each and every hoop. And I was able to, talk through the process and make sure that I respected everybody involved, especially his mother and everyone. So I guess I'm not a monster, Now, a month before his 5th Christmas, he came. He came and lived with me. It was a magical time. I can't even describe it to you. But I just want to wrap up and try to say something to Elijah. Try not to go out too far. Okay. No. Man, it was all for you. I know I'm not perfect, and I know I failed you, man, at times. But my sights have always been on trying to build us a home. You're a beautiful person. And honestly, I can't tell you how proud I am of you when you spoke in front of 500 people at Ryther. You killed it, man. You killed it. Me and Johnny, we were in so much awe. Like, we look bad, and you look good. But it made it clear to me, man, that you got the goods. You just got the goods. But even this pales in comparison to the fact that you didn't let your resentment, anger, or pain take you out. You could have blamed people in your life. You could have given up. but instead you decided to go on your own to college because you believe in your dreams and in yourself. Sure. You're climbing mountains, man. You're climbing mountains. And if you climb while clutching onto your desires, you just might make it. Regardless of outcome, I think you'll look back at this and you'll see this is how Elijah took control of his own destiny and started to climb the mountains that he wanted to climb. So you're awesome, and please let your you shine, okay? This is what's been done for me, and it all started in that green building with Johnny and Abby. That's it. So thank you for your time.